We have a system for academics, and we trust it. When students are struggling in reading, we don't panic. We intervene. We tutor, we reteach, we adjust instruction, we create small groups, we provide scaffolds, we give time, we give support. We understand that academic struggle is not a character flaw. It's a signal. A signal that says this student needs something different from what they're currently getting. But when it comes to behavior, we don't always think the same way. We respond quickly to disruption. We respond to urgency. We respond when learning is interrupted loudly. But there is another group of behaviors, quiet behaviors, that often go unaddressed. Welcome to the Advocate Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Kristi N. Love. And in today's episode, we will look at the student who is disorganized, the student who does not turn work in, the student who participates in class but never completes assignments, the student who looks engaged but produces very little evidence of learning. And too often, we label those behaviors instead of intervening for them. Let's go.
Dr. Kristi N. Love is an experienced educator and advocate dedicated to empowering students and families to ensure children receive a high-quality education. She specializes in culturally responsive teaching, restorative practices, and social-emotional learning, helping schools create supportive and inclusive environments. Through the Advocate Podcast, she amplifies voices, challenges inequitable systems, and keeps children at the center of every conversation.
Schools are very good at responding to what we can see. If a student is off task loudly, we respond. If a student is disruptive, we respond. If a student refuses work, we respond. But there is a quieter category of struggle that does not trigger urgency. And because it's not urgent, it becomes invisible. The student who doesn't submit assignments, forgets materials constantly, the student who starts work but never finishes, avoids extended tasks, the student who struggles to organize thinking, participates verbally but not in writing. These students are often described in familiar ways. They're capable, they're just not applying themselves. They're lazy, they're unmotivated. But those labels are often conclusions, not explanations. Because capability is not the issue. The issue is often execution, structure, executive functioning, consistency, and support systems. And most importantly, lack of explicit instruction in how to manage those demands. We talk a lot about Tier 1 academics, core instruction, what every student receives. But we rarely talk about Tier 1 behavior instruction in the same intentional way. We assume students already know how to organize materials. They already know how to manage time, track assignments, break down tasks, initiate work, sustain attention, and self-monitor progress. But many students were never explicitly taught those skills. So when they struggle, we treat it as non-compliance instead of instruction. Here's the truth. If we expect it but don't teach it, we're not holding students accountable. We are guessing at readiness. And Tier 1 behavior support should look like clear routines, explicit expectations, modeling organization, guided practice, consistent actionable feedback, and structured systems, not assumptions. One of the most misunderstood groups in schools is the capable underperformer, the student who can talk through the content but doesn't turn in the work, the student who understands the lesson in class but fails the assessment, or the student who gives strong verbal responses but weak written evidence. And this is where frustration often builds, because adults often think, you know this, so why aren't you showing it? But knowledge and execution are not the same skill set. And schools often assess execution and assume it reflects knowledge alone. For many students, the breakdown is not understanding, it is organizing thoughts or initiating tasks independently, even managing multi-step assignments, sustaining focus outside of direct support, or translating thinking into written form. These are all teachable skills, but they require intervention. We have to say this clearly. Behavior is not just compliance. Behavior is skill-based. And just like academics, skills develop at different rates. Some students naturally develop organization skills early. Others do not. Some students have strong executive functioning supports at home. Others do not. Some students need direct instruction in how to function in structured environments. Others do not. So when we see missing assignments and inconsistent performance, incomplete work, disorganization, or even avoidance, we have to ask, is this a motivation issue or a skill development issue? Because intervention changes depending on the answer. If we applied a true tiered model to behavior, it would mirror academics. Tier 1 behavior support is universal. Every student receives it. Explicit routines, organizational systems, assignment tracking structures, modeled expectations, consistent feedback, and predictable classroom systems. Tier 2 behavior support is targeted. Some students need it. Check-ins, guided planners, small group support for organization, scaffolds for task completion, structured accountability systems, and frequent feedback cycles. And then you have Tier 3 behavior support, which is intensive, and an even smaller amount of students need these. Individualized behavior plans, executive functioning intervention, wraparound support, coaching and self-management, collaboration with families and support staff, and highly structured environments. But here is the issue. We often only apply Tier 2 or Tier 3 when behavior is disruptive, not when it is quietly academic. Quiet struggle is easy to miss because it does not interrupt instruction. It does not demand attention. It does not create urgency in the room. But it does create long-term academic failure. Slowly, silently, consistently. And by the time we notice it, students may already believe, I'm just not good at school. When what they really needed was structure, skills, and consistent intervention earlier. Real behavior intervention is not punishment. It is instruction. It sounds like, let's break this assignment into steps together. Let me show you how to organize this. Let's track your work for the week. Let's build a system so you don't have to rely on memory alone. Let's practice how to start when something feels overwhelming. It is not lowering expectations, it's removing barriers. Because the goal is not compliance. The goal is access. Access to learning, access to success, access to showing what they actually know. We already believe in intervention. We already believe in support. We already believe in scaffolding for academics. So the question is not whether students need help. The question is, why do we limit that belief to academics only? Because when we expand intervention to behavior, we stop labeling students and we start teaching them. And we start seeing more of what they actually know. If we can intervene for reading, we can intervene for responsibility. If we can scaffold math, we can scaffold organization. And if we believe all students can learn, then we also have to believe all students can learn how to succeed. If this episode resonated with you, share it with an educator, a parent, or a leader who needs to hear it. And start asking in your own space, where are we teaching behavior the way we teach academics? Because the answer changes everything. Thank you for joining the Advocate Podcast. I've been your host, Dr. Kristi N. And until next time, keep asking the hard questions, keep showing up for children, and keep advocating. Because children deserve adults who won't stop fighting for them. Be blessed.